Missy Farr-Kaye, head coach women's golf at Arizona State. And I've been here, been coaching for 24 years at ASU. My 11th as head coach. And I have been cancer-free now for approximately 16 years. I don't live like a survivor. I live like a thriver, you know, every day. And it usually surprises people that don't know my story. They're like, you're a cancer survivor? So I don't really wear it on my forehead. I don't have it tattooed, but I'm very, very proud inside. And I wear that badge of honor for sure. So Heather was first at 24, caught it too late, and she passed away at 28, 4.5 years after she was first diagnosed. Then after she passed, I, went through this trying to figure out what I was supposed to be doing. I knew I was supposed to be a mom. I knew being a mom was the greatest gift I've ever had. And I'm well aware that Heather never got to be a mom, and she really wanted to be. I was just trying to figure it out. I started to play again, and I started playing at a pretty high level, and won a state amateur title and qualified for some USGA tournaments in my 30s, and it really got me reconnected to the game. They had started to watch me, my doctors, and then at 30 I had a mammogram come back positive, and so then my journey started at 30 years old, and I had it at 30, and I had a bilateral mastectomy and reconstruction surgery and all that, but no chemo, because the doctor felt that they had found it early. It was like 0 stage. And then 10 years later, I had a lump that I couldn't believe I had that was like kind of up under my armpit. And they biopsied it and found out immediately that it was cancer. And it probably was just cancer that had some stray cells had been left. And then they hit me really hard. When I was 40, I lost all my hair. And oddly enough, I don't think I have one picture of me not having hair. So I must not have let anybody take pictures. Because I've had people ask me, I can't find them. It was hard on my kids. It was really hard on my kids. And it took a couple of years. I was pretty hard on myself. And some of the medication that I'm on, still on, the side effects have definitely diminished, which is wonderful. But in the beginning, they're not a lot of fun. And joint pain, arthritis pain, and you feel like you're 90 years old and you're not. Heather really taught me not to live in fear. And it's just, most of the things, even in golf we teach, we coach, look, the majority of the things you worry about are never going to come to pass. So why put yourself through that? And really it's no different in the cancer space of, sure, I could live every day worrying about it, but absolutely, to me, that is just not the way to do it, not the way to live. And so I don't live in that space, and I haven't since the beginning. And, she just innately knew how to do that. And it was pretty amazing, because it's very strong in my memory. Because even now, I think, I don't know what's ahead. I don't know what's tomorrow. And so I continue to live in that space of, taking care of myself and giving myself a couple days to, if something goes wrong, and then figuring out how to do it. And she taught me really well in that space. I've had people say to me, I've had women say to me, I don't know how you've done it. And I said, well, if you stop and think about it, you don't do that. You just move and go forward. And every day is this great gift and opportunity. I don't take any of it lightly. It's tremendously difficult to do what I've done. And no question, there are women that have had it harder than me, especially my sister. But life is a gift, and you've got to take every day and enjoy it. But you can do hard things. We can all do hard things. And I think that's my silver lining that I take away from what I've been through with my players, from my golfers, is that, I think it's a hard lesson to learn that life's not always fair. And I think that life hands us some hard turns sometimes, some hard things. And you can do anything you put your mind to. And you can't always worry about the outcome. You know that you've just got to do it one day at a time, and you can do hard things. Anybody can. But surround yourself with people that bring love and light and laughter, because that definitely helps a tremendous amount.